Has everybody gotten the chance now to copy that folder over? Yes? Anybody who did not? All right. So let's take a look at this. That you can give it back to me later, Dominic. That's fine. But I just want to make sure everybody we get through this here. So what's one unique thing about the JavaScript math object? You don't have to create an actual object itself. All right. There's all sorts of object-oriented verbiage I can give you. It means that it's static, all right, but it's all stuff that you'll learn about in later classes that you don't have to really worry about right now. Would you agree that you used the random object before when you did that random number program? Did you? And you didn't know anything about object orientation until about an hour ago. So you were using it, you could say math dot. Math is actually the name of a class. All right? So when you can use the class without having to create objects, all right, that means it's what's referred to as something that's static. But in here, that's the answer. All right, number 2. How do you create an empty object? All right. There's actually 2 ways that you can do it. All right, and I'm going to actually add to this. So I can either say var object name equals, and I can say here object. Why? I don't know why I keep doing that. Object. Or I can say var object name equals and just put the curly braces in there. I don't remember if I need new there or not, but just remember this part for the test. All right, I'm showing you additional stuff, but remember what's in gray there. The value of an object property can be another object. You already saw that. I mentioned that to you. How you could have the alarm clock that was the clock object was part of the alarm clock. All right, I don't want to confuse you, and that's not on the test like that, so I'm going to remove that. And I guess it's not even in here. See this question right here? Must the code for an object be stored in an external file? No. No. And we have to step it up a little bit because I'd like to finish this by 11:30 so I can show you some of these examples that are on the disk or on the what I just had you copy over. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, that's pretty simple. An object is also known as a component. I showed you that in the book and I said that's going to be on the test. That might be in one of the short answers, so please put component. All right. Ideally, you can spell it correctly too. If nothing else, you can sound it out if you're not a good speller. All right, number 4. What is data? Information contained within variables or other types of storage structures. For an object, data is also known as properties. It's also known as attributes, all right, or characteristics. So I can put that in there. That's not on the test, but for objects, data is also known as properties, attributes. I don't even like the word properties in there. I don't think they say that. But either as attributes or characteristics. This isn't on the test. This is. Again, this might be one of the short answers. I don't really remember. What is an interface? You know that because that's what I showed you before. All right. It's the view both the programmer and the end user see. Remember, what's encapsulated is the implementation. What's shown to the outside world is the interface. What is garbage collection? It's cleaning up or reclaiming memory that a program is using. So, number 7, I guess I could put these on different lines. What Java class is used for times and dates? That's the date class. What class is used for numeric limitations? That's the number class. And what is used for mathematical calculations? Please look at this, all right? This is not asked well on the test. And it's very easy. This is one of those where you can mix the two up. If it's numeric limitations, like what's the max number, min number, etc., that's the number class. When it's calculations, so if it's things like absolute value, random numbers, rounding, that's the math class. Do you understand the difference? If you're performing a mathematical operation, it's the math class. If you're working with different types of numbers, it's the number class. What you're going to learn next semester with C# is with C#, they don't have just one number class like that, like JavaScript does. They have an integer class, a double class, a float class, a long class, a short class, a byte class. There's about 8 of them. Java works the same way. So remember, if it says mathematical, it's math. If it says numeric, it's number. Make enough sense to people? And date does both time and date, or both date and time, I guess would have been a better way to put it. What is an associative array? You know that when you do an array, it always looks like this. Like, for instance, state 0 equal Alabama. That's a numerically indexed array. With an associative array, you don't say that. You say state, and then you'd have something like Al, all right, equal greater than Alabama. See the difference? You're not using numbers, you're using, you don't use numbers to access the array elements. You access them with some kind of a numeric or alphanumeric key. I don't believe C# allows you to do that. I don't believe JavaScript does either. PHP does, and JavaScript do. Those are the only two languages that I know of that allow for an associative type of array. I'm sure there are other languages though. All right, number 9. We didn't even get into this, but this is, no pun intended, that is a key word in JavaScript, this. All right? For lack of better words, this means the current thing you're working with. That's what this is. I think what I will attempt to do for your Chapter 7-8 test is I will give you a problem, and it'll deal with strings and arrays, because that's what Chapter 8's on. Then I'll say, if you want, and I'll provide like maybe up to 25 points of extra credit if you want it. And then you'll be able to redo that doing it using an object, if you want to, if you have time to and you have the desire to. Number 10, what is the prototype property? This was at the end of the chapter. It's built in. It allows you to extend things, for lack of better words. I didn't even go into constructors with you. We're going to see that though when we go through the examples. All right, number 11. When you work with dates, January is month 0. December is month 11. All right? And so how do you fix that? In your code. But by default, that's the way the JavaScript sets them up. Number 12, what math object rounds to the next lowest integer? It's the word floor. You want to take a guess? What math object rounds to the next highest integer? It's ceil, but you're right. It's from ceiling, correct? C, what is it? Is that E? C, I before E except after C? C-E-I-L, I believe. And that's in most languages, have a floor and a ceil function. Number 13, what is object-oriented programming? Well, you know that now. Whatever we don't finish after this, starting to go through a couple of examples, that's what we'll do first thing tomorrow morning between 8 and 8:30. Then Shannon comes in here, I walk out. I don't know if she talks to you. I don't know if she asks you your opinions of me, or if she just gives you written things. I don't have any idea what it is. All right, but she's going to do that from 8:30 till 9. Then when I come back, we're going to attempt to finish up that, that program that we were working on before. And if we have any extra time, then we'll go on. Number 14, what is information hiding? It's the black box mentality. It's that something happens. You know, I leave here, I put my car in reverse, I know what happens, I go backward. How does that happen internally in the car? Don't know, don't care. I just had, what do they call that, an epiphany, that if we do want to catch back up, one way we could do this, and if you don't want to, it's okay. We could take the test on this tomorrow morning from 8 to 8:30. Got it fresh in your mind, we just went over it. If you'd rather wait till next week, it's not a problem. Okay, I see people shaking their heads no, so we'll do it next week. It's not a problem. Number 15. Oops. 13, 14, 15. What is inheritance? Okay. And then the last one I'll put up in just a minute. That's got all the definitions on it. All right, and again, here are the definitions. I think there's 9 of them as usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe there's 10, I don't know. Does everybody have these first three done? Class, new date, and interface, and I'll move it down a little bit. Yes? Oops. Oh, come on. That's about the best I can get. There any other ones that I went through too fast that you need shown again? Any other numbers? Leave that up there for a minute or two. I'm not gonna go into the other stuff today. That's just not in 10 minutes. It doesn't really pay. All right? And I'll come right back to this, but if you look on the screen for a second, please, that what that means is, all right, because I want to, that tomorrow we don't have to do the test review anymore. So tomorrow you will do the evals, and then we'll finish that loop pizza. But what I'll do first is those object-oriented programming examples. I'll go through those right when you get in here at 8. Now, Shannon has, typically, she's an early person. So if she comes in here and it's 8:15, I'm just walking out when she leaves. And she said, plan on having it take a half an hour. Okay, that's fine. I'll just be sitting in there anyway. She'll come yell to me when she's done. So, but if there's time, we'll do those examples, then the evals, then we'll finish. That should give us time, I would think, if we have 3 or so hours, we should be able to finish that rest of that program. So this will change then next week. Instead of this being written test and this stuff is all gonna be shifted down. So I'm gonna move that for now. Put it there. And this will be the redo of the hands-on test 3 for chapters, 5 and 6, I guess. All right. So you'll have that, you'll have a written test the next day. Hopefully I can possibly combine that into one day. We'll see. If I can do in 2 hours, if I can do if we can do the written test and the lecture, all right. But I would think this day will be at least, not the hands-on. We'll see how it works, okay? But that whole week, 2 weeks from now, and that Monday, those, I guarantee you, those will be labs. I don't know, you know, I don't care if we fall behind. They're gonna be 6 lab periods anyway. Sorry, it's not 7. Right. Well, so when you come in here tomorrow, please have that folder open that I just gave you, all right? Because I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that's in there. I'm gonna add to it, but I only had time to do 1/3 of what I wanted to do. The rest of the stuff we'll be looking at next week, so I'll send it to you then.
You go back.
Yes.